Something is moving through the ferns. It's low to the ground, fast, and it hasn't eaten in 3 days. The air is thick, humid, volcanic, suffocating, and the landscape stretching out around it looks like nothing alive today. No flowers. No grass. Just cycads, towering conifers, and the red dust of a supercontinent that hasn't yet torn itself apart. This is 230 million years ago. And the creature slipping through the undergrowth? It's a dinosaur. But here's what nobody tells you, it's not the apex predator. Not even close. In the Triassic, dinosaurs were prey. We talk about dinosaurs like they were born to rule. Like the moment they appeared, the world bowed down. But that's not how it happened. The Triassic period, stretching from roughly 252 to 201 million years ago, was one of the most violently contested eras in the history of life on Earth. The planet had just survived the Great Dying, the worst mass extinction ever recorded. Nearly 96% of all marine species and 70% of land vertebrates were gone. What remained was a broken world with open ecological slots and every surviving lineage scrambling to fill them. Dinosaurs entered this chaos not as conquerors, but as challengers. Smaller. Often outmatched. Constantly threatened. The Triassic was a cage match with dozens of competitors, and the dinosaurs were not winning, not yet. Let's go back to that creature in the ferns. It's a theropod. Early, primitive, but built on a template that will eventually produce Tyrannosaurus rex. Right now, though, it's roughly the size of a large dog, bipedal, hollow-boned, fast. Its name is Eoraptor, or something close to it. It picks its way across a dry riverbed in what will one day become Argentina. The trees above cast broken shadows. The ground cracks under the heat. And then, it stops. Ahead, half submerged in the shallow remnants of a stream, something enormous is watching. It doesn't look like a crocodile. Not exactly. It moves differently, legs partially upright, body elevated, more agile than anything that size has a right to be. It's a Rauisuchian. A member of the dominant predator group of the Triassic. And it is not afraid of anything that walks on 2 legs. The theropod retreats. Slowly. Carefully. It has learned what its species is only beginning to understand, this world does not belong to them yet. If the Triassic had a king, this was its dynasty. These were archosaurs, part of the same broad lineage that would eventually split into crocodilians and birds, but in the Triassic they had evolved into something terrifying. Massive. Armored. Opportunistic. They didn't lumber like the giant predators of later eras. Their upright or semi-erect posture gave them speed and leverage. Their jaws were built for crushing and tearing. And they sat at the top of almost every food chain on land. Picture the largest of them, Saurosuchus galilei. Found in the late Triassic of what is now South America, this animal stretched up to 7, possibly 8 meters long. It weighed as much as a pickup truck. Its skull alone was massive, thick, reinforced, lined with serrated teeth that could puncture bone. When Saurosuchus moved through a floodplain, everything else scattered. Prosauropod dinosaurs, distant ancestors of the long-necked giants of the Jurassic, fled into dense vegetation. Even mid-sized predators gave way. Watch it now. Moving along the edge of a shallow lake at dusk, the light turning the water copper and gold. Its footfalls are deliberate, each one leaving deep impressions in the soft mud. A herd of prosauropods has gathered near the water, Ischiosaurus, long-necked, nervous, their tails swinging as they pace. They sense it before they see it. One animal at the edge of the group hesitates a half-second too long. Saurosuchus doesn't telegraph its charge. One moment it's still. The next, it's already there. But even Saurosuchus had competition. The Triassic wasn't a world with one apex predator. It was a world with several, and the tension between them was constant. Enter the Aetosaur, heavily armored, pig snout, and while primarily herbivorous, a reminder that even the plant eaters of the Triassic were built like tanks, covered in bony scuts that made them nightmares to hunt. A predator that miscalculated an attack could find itself gored, its ribs shattered by a panicked thrash. And then there were the phytosaurs, the ambush artists of the Triassic waterways. Long snout, powerfully built, superficially resembling modern crocodilians to a startling degree. They weren't closely related. This is one of evolution's great coincidences, the same predatory shape invented twice. Phytosaurs haunted rivers and coastal deltas, lunging from below the surface with astonishing speed, clamping down on anything that came to drink. Early dinosaurs approaching water did so with extreme caution. Not all of them made it back. The water was not safe. The land was not safe. The Triassic offered no sanctuary, only degrees of danger. Back to our theropod. It has found something to eat, a small rhynchosaur, a chunky herbivorous reptile, the kind that existed in enormous numbers during the mid-Triassic. It feeds quickly, pulling meat from bone with rapid, efficient movements. No ceremony. No leisure. It eats like something that expects to be interrupted. And then, from somewhere in the tree line, sound. Movement. A larger theropod emerges, Herosaurus, one of the biggest early dinosaur predators, already pushing 3 meters in length, already showing the predatory sophistication that will define its lineage for the next 150 million years. Muscular. Angular. Eyes that lock onto motion. It tilts its head at the smaller theropod and the half-consumed carcass. For a moment, the two dinosaurs face each other across the kill. An intra-species standoff. The smaller one holds its ground for exactly as long as it takes to calculate the odds. Then it retreats into the ferns, leaving the meal behind. Herosaurus feeds. And for the first time today, a dinosaur is at the top of a local interaction. Small victories. The Triassic is built on small victories. But night is coming. And with it, the truest test of the Triassic hierarchy. Herosaurus moves toward the river, picking its way through darkening brush. The sounds of the Triassic at night are alien, insect-like chirps from early proto-mammals hiding in burrows, the distant boom of volcanic activity, the low susurrus of wind through ancient conifers. The dinosaur is confident here. This is its range. Then the smell hits it. Ancient. Heavy. Blood and musk and raw power. Saurosuchus has been tracking it. The Rauisuchian moves out of the shadows, and the size difference is immediate, absolute, and final. Herosaurus spins, sprints, crashes through vegetation at full speed. Saurosuchus doesn't even hurry. It follows at a measured pace, because it already knows what the dinosaur is learning in real time. There is no outrunning a predator that has already won. This is the Triassic in its truest form. Not a world of dinosaur supremacy. A world of constant challenge, brutal hierarchy, and 1,000 overlapping power struggles playing out across an alien landscape. The dinosaurs are here. They are fast, they are adaptable, they are evolving faster than almost anything around them. But they are not kings. Not yet. The night swallows the sounds of the chase. The Triassic will not last. Around 201 million years ago, the Central Atlantic magmatic province will tear the crust of Pangaea apart, flooding the atmosphere with carbon dioxide, collapsing ecosystems, wiping out the Rauisuchians, the phytosaurs, the Aetosaur, all the dominant groups that kept the dinosaurs in check. A second great extinction. And when the smoke clears, the ecological throne will be empty. The dinosaurs will be standing. Not because they were always the strongest. Not because they were destined to rule. But because they had spent the entire Triassic period being tested, outcompete, hunted, and pressured, and they survived anyway. Every near miss, every stolen kill, every desperate retreat through ancient ferns had honed them into something extraordinary. Resilient. Adaptable. Ready. The Jurassic will be their era. The Cretaceous, their zenith. But it all began here, in the brutal proving ground of the Triassic, where the world's first great predator arms race played out in red dust and volcanic heat, and the losers became footnotes, and the survivors became legends. The dinosaurs didn't inherit the Earth. They earned it.